Here they come. They're off, and the best start with Bliss and Vinegar, and Assemblyman Mike Cusack sent right to the lead. Very aggressive from the get-go. Away in second was Mr. Soggy, taking the turn a bit wide. It's a gap of about 7 lengths to McNally and Badlands Bandit as they head up the backstretch. Assemblyman Mike Cusack and Bliss and Vinegar have cleared the lead. Letting it by 2.5 from Mr. Soggy, who's not far away with Assemblyman Gary Pretlow. Then a gap of 8 lengths to McNally, and trying to keep up here at the back. Michael Dendecker and Badlands Bandit, they have a lot to do. Opening quarter was clocked in 30-4. Pretty quick as they head on the far turn the first time. Bliss and Vinegar, the mare out on top here, a length and a half. Shadowed there by Mr. Soggy and Assemblyman Gary Pretlow, just biding their time in no hurry. A gap of 4 to McNally, and left well behind Badlands Bandit and Assemblyman Michael Dendecker. Losing contact with the field here. Better get going as they approach the half-mile pole. And Bliss and Vinegar and Assemblyman Mike Cusack letting it by a length and a half, looking like an expert in the bike there. They went a half mile in 1:03.3. Pocket sitting trip for Mr. Soggy, and they loom a threat indeed from the pocket. And now inching a bit closer from third, McNally and Assemblyman Michael Benedetto maybe just toying with the field here, and left well behind is Badlands Bandit as they head up the backstretch. The one to knock off is Bliss and Vinegar. Bliss and Vinegar and Mr. Soggy, they've been 1-2 the entire way. Assemblyman Michael Benedetto was working on McNally. No response from McNally, and far behind is Badlands Bandit. 3/4 in 1:36. They're on the final turn. Bliss and Vinegar. Now taken to the outside is Mr. Soggy, and Assemblyman Gary Pretlow on the outside taking dead aim. And the battle's on in the Legislative Challenge at the top of the stretch. It's Bliss and Vinegar, Assemblyman Mike Cusack, but on the outside right to the top, Mr. Soggy, and Assemblyman Gary Pretlow opening up. And it's going to be Mr. Soggy in the Legislative Challenge from Bliss and Vinegar, McNally, and coming away last was Badlands Bandit, 2:07.2. The teletimer here in 2:07.2 in this first Legislative Challenge. Coming back to the winner's circle, I believe it's career victory number 1 for Assemblyman Gary Pretlow. Looks like an expert in the bike tonight, owned by Peter Younger and Eckley Scott of Yonkers and Bronx, New York, taking the Legislative Challenge. This is the first event. We'll be having a second division shortly. Time here was 2:07 and 2 pips. I'd like to thank our other drivers, Assemblyman Mike Cusack, Assemblyman Gary Pretlow, the winner, and Assemblyman Michael Dendecker, and, of course, Assemblyman Michael Benedetto, partaking in the first of the Legislative Challenge races tonight. Round 2, they're ready to rumble. They're off, and it was a good start. Between horses, Blue Time Frosty and Assemblyman Tim Gordon left for the lead. Moving up toward the inside, center Pedro Spano and R.H. Bittersweet wide around the turn. From post 4 was Carlo Hall, Assemblyman Nelson Castro as they start up the backstretch, and the leader is R.H. Bittersweet. Blue Time Frosty travels between horses, and on the inside third, Hurricane Mike and Assemblyman Michael Spano, 3 wide. Going to the quarter pole, Carlo Hall and Assemblyman Nelson Castro, and it's a gap of 5 to the trailer. That's Tristan Sealster and Assemblyman Rory Lightman, and they're mixing it up on the front end. Opening quarter in a blistering 31 seconds flat. Battling on the front end, R.H. Bittersweet. On the far outside is Carlo Hall. And their own there, mixing it up between horses, Blue Time Frosty, Hurricane Mike, and Assemblyman Michael Spano right there watching it all develop, and they're just biding their time. And still, Tristan Sealster's trailing position here, but just 6 lengths from the battle. We have a good one here. Carlo Hall and Assemblyman Nelson Castro, but some hardball from the inside from Senator Pedro Espada and R.H. Bittersweet through a half mile in a blistering 1:03.1. And they continue their tussle around the clubhouse turn towards the inside. Hurricane Mike and Assemblyman Michael Spano in the thick of the chase. Then a break of 3. Tristan Sealster moves up 1 spot and dropping out to trail the field. Assemblyman Tim Gordon and Blue Time Frosty. Come on, pick it up as they move down the backstretch. Carlo Hall and R.H. Bittersweet go shoulder to shoulder in the Legislative Challenge. A gap of 2 to Hurricane Mike third and Tristan Sealster. They've gone 3/4 in 1:36 flat. R.H. Bittersweet and Senator Pedro Espada cannot shake off Carlo Hall and Assemblyman Nelson Castro. They've been dueling since the half-mile pole. And the whip is out on Hurricane Mike with Assemblyman Michael Spano as they continue their battle into the stretch. Who do you like here? R.H. Bittersweet. And here comes Tristan Sealster to go by them all. And Assemblyman Rory Lakeman, he was toying with them. Tristan Sealster takes the Legislative Challenge in convincing fashion. Carlo Hall and R.H. Bittersweet had their own private battle, second and third, in 2:08 and. Again, our thanks go out to all the participants in the Legislative Challenge. In the first event, we'd like to thank Assemblyman Mike Cusack, Assemblyman Gary Pretlow, Assemblyman Michael Dendecker, and Assemblyman Michael Benedetto. And here from the second Legislative Challenge, the participants, Senator Pedro Espada, Assemblyman Michael Spano, Assemblyman Tim Gordon, Assemblyman Nelson Castro, and arriving in the winner's circle, Assemblyman Rory Lankman and Tristan Sealster, all by Michael Sorrentino, trained by Michael Sorrentino Jr., and this the second of the Legislators' Challenge. Mind our live music in the beer barbecue tent. Coming up at 7 o'clock, the blacksmith demonstration. At 8 o'clock, top drivers will be signing autograph pictures here at the Harvest Festival tonight. And the winner, Tristan Sealster, and Assemblyman Roy Lankman taking the Legislative Challenge. First race post time at 7:10 in 49 minutes.